Welcome to the Mark Dolan Show. I am in Portugal completely by accident. That's right, I'm in Porto. I was supposed to go to America, but I went left, not right. Find out the full story at the end of the video. But first, massive news, and this is a major trend. Now, the Mark Dolan Show is the only show in the world that has placed Harry and Meghan on 24/7 divorce watch. The marriage will end, and we have today breaking news about why that may be sooner rather than later. Harry and Meghan have been apart for a major event in New York, attended only by the H-bomb himself, my husband, Prince Harry. So what's happened is Harry has attended an event called the Nexus Global Summit because, of course, Prince Harry is such a global figure. He's much more important than, I don't know, President Trump, Barack Obama, King Charles, the head of the United Nations. Prince Harry is the Don, which is why he's got to go to these global events and be this major influencer. But the bottom line is he was alone. Now, there are interesting parallels because this event happened on Friday. It was in New York City, which is the exact location where Harry had to be the bag carrier in chief for Meghan Markle at the Time magazine 100 event. Now, this was just a couple of months ago, where Meghan Markle arrived in central Manhattan in a 4-car cavalcade because Meghan Markle has got such delusions of grandeur. I mean, she thinks that she's also a global figure, and therefore she's got to have 4 cars, that she cuts some kind of a presidential status as a human being. So she arrives in 4 cars, she gets out of the car, and Harry is behind her. Now, Prince Harry, the son of the King of the United Kingdom, should not be behind anyone. He shouldn't be behind anyone, but he's trailing behind his Z-list celebrity, failed actress wife, Meghan Markle, who wasn't even the best thing in suits. So the bottom line is that this time round, Harry goes to New York. Why isn't Meghan there? Because the marriage is in trouble. Meghan is not interested in supporting Harry and any of his projects. It's all Meghan, Meghan, Meghan. It's a TV show. It's the podcast. It is the failed business empire, which has had no inventory, no products for 3 months. But Meghan is focused on herself now. Why? Because the couple are in the process of breaking up. And it's very clear that Harry is the junior partner, which is why he's got to go into New York and he's got to trail around behind her when she's having her moment in the spotlight. And when Harry's got his moment in the spotlight, he's on his own. Now, I'm a happily married man, and let me tell you that marriage is a commitment, okay? And your spouse, your wife or your husband, or if it's a gay scenario, your husband and husband, your wife and wife, it's 2025. Anything goes. But the bottom line is you support your partner. That is marriage. Let me know in the comments, would you support your partner through thick and thin? And if your partner was attending a global event, making a big speech in front of the world's press, would you be there for the optics of it, like the amazing Nancy Reagan in the 80s? What a pillar of support she was to President Ronald Reagan. And what about Margaret Thatcher's husband, Dennis Thatcher, right? This is a guy who was an old-fashioned man who came from an era in which, I'm not defending this, but Dennis Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher's husband, he came from an era where the man was in charge, okay? The man dominated the boardroom, dominated politics, and yet he was willing to play second fiddle and be number 2 and trail behind Margaret Thatcher. That's what a real man looks like, but that's what a great spouse looks like. Where's Meghan? Why isn't she in New York? She loves New York. She's addicted to New York. By the way, the Mark Dolan Show is on its way to New York. We're the only show in the world that's travelled to New York from London via Porto in Portugal. Find out the full story at the end of the video. There you go. London, Porto, New York. Make it make sense. But it also doesn't make sense that Meghan is not with Harry at this event. I will say, I'm going to cut Harry some slack, right? I think he's had a tough time of it. He clearly misses his father. He clearly regrets all the terrible mistakes that he's made, marrying Meghan, losing his brother, all of that stuff. It's too late now, right? He's burned his bridges. And I think the one thing he could do with is some genuine support. What he's had from Meghan since 2018 is fake support, because Meghan's a fake. She is a, I'm not fake. What you see is what you get. Look at this, I'm sweating. I'm a little, by the way, we've realized how hard filming is, okay? Because where the sunshine is perfect, but then I'm in silhouette. What's going on? We will be, by the way, Mark Dolan Show every day, daily videos live from the United States when we get there. We started in London. We're accidentally in Porto. Find out the story at the end of the video. I don't know if we're going to have to go via Egypt before we get to New York, but hopefully tomorrow's video will be in the Big Apple. Harry needs support. Meghan shouldn't be there. She's not there. And the messaging is huge, okay? Because Harry's got to go to New York with Meghan for her Time 100 influencers, most important people in the world, of which she is not, but thinks she is. So Harry's got to go to New York, and Meg's, my husband, goes alone. I feel sorry for him. Harry's lost everything, hasn't he? Harry hasn't just lost King Charles. He hasn't just lost Prince William, his only brother and his only genetic connection to Diana. He hasn't just lost Catherine, who's a fabulous sister-in-law, and his nieces and nephews and all of that. He hasn't just lost Britain. He hasn't just lost those royal privileges, okay, the frontline royal duties, and of course the military honours, of which he was such a fan. Do you know what Harry's also lost? Are you ready for this? As I overlook Porto, which has a bridge and a football team and great beer. Harry, not as good as Budweiser, which is the king of beers. Harry has lost Meghan. Harry's lost Meghan, which means he's lost everything. You see, he's been done. He's been hoodwinked. It's like a confidence trickster. You know, someone that love bombs you and they say, oh, you're amazing. I just need you to send me $50,000 so that I can leave Nigeria and come and live with you and get married forever. And then you hand over the money and there's no visit, there's no phone call. He's been ghosted by his own wife. She's much more interested in the kids, especially Lily. Okay, Instagram is Lily, all day long. Who, by the way, can I remind you, is 4 years of age. And Meghan is turning her into a celebrity. So so in fact, you know, the contract, it's over, it's complete. She's done it, she's pulled off the contract. And there he is in New York on his own. And let me tell you about the wild double standards from his speech, right? The Duke and Duchess of double standards. So he's in New York on his own. Divorce watch, it is coming. How long have they got as a couple? Max 5 years. Max 5 years. Cameraman John, you give it 5 years? He's raised his eyebrows. He's had, by the way, 3 cervezas and he lost his focus. There's only one professional on this team today. Prince Harry. So New York, let me tell you this Nexus Global Summit, okay? He surprised attendees when he stepped on stage. Well, yeah, they were probably hoping to listen to someone who had something useful to say. And during his remarks, he encouraged the audience to take care of each other and our children. Oh my, have you noticed how noisy the vehicles are in Portugal? It's nearly as bad as the Philippines. Did you know, are you aware of the accommodation situation that Thomas Markle is going through? Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, who spent $500,000 on her education and now lives in poverty in the Philippines, right? This guy lives in a high-rise apartment which overlooks a 7-lane highway. The poor man, right? The elevator probably doesn't work. It's a cheap block. I would imagine that the skyscraper was constructed with, with sort of, corrupt certificates, and the whole thing is probably going to fall down at some point. He'll be halfway through an episode of Suits. He's like, oh my God, the ceiling's falling in. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? No, Thomas, you're living in a cheap building because of your cheap daughter that took everything from you and gave nothing back. Anyway, so poor Thomas Markle, probably no aircon, sweating his knackers off in that high rise, overlooking a 7-lane highway. That's Thomas Markle's life. Meanwhile, her husband, her pathetic hypocrite husband, Harry, is telling everyone to take care of each other. Well, sending your father effectively to the Philippines to live in poverty is not taking care of each other, is it? And also, you'll love this, right? The Duke told people in attendance in New York, by the way, can you believe I've missed Harry by a day? That man is lucky, because if I hadn't accidentally gone to Portugal, because I left London, I wanted to go to America, and I woke up in Portugal by accident, find out the story at the end of the show, I could go to that silly summit and I'd heckle him. I'd get off, write some new material. I know about heckles because I've had a few as a comedian back in the day. So he spoke to the attended crowd, who were obviously asleep, and some of whom will have looked at him and escaped the venue almost instantly. But he said that what we've got to do is tackle the systems that hold us down. This is a guy, right? This guy's criticizing the establishment, right? The systems, that's the establishment, isn't it? This guy's the son of the King of the United Kingdom who's worried about the establishment and the systems that hold us down. This guy, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, his grandmother was Queen Elizabeth. He's the luckiest man on the planet. Nothing's holding him down other than his pathological self-pity and his ego. He spoke at length about the Archwell Foundation. We love the Archwell Foundation. By the way, what a freak show that is. Putting your son's name in the name of your charity. Now, what I would call that is, I would call that extended narcissism, right? That is superimposing narcissism onto Archie. Because Archie's a baby and the charity's called Archwell, which has got his name in it, right? He's just come out of the womb, allegedly, unless it's a moon bump. God knows what's real with Meghan these days. Moon bump, moon bump, moon bump. Let's assume but that it was, you know, that Archie's real, God bless him. I'm sure he's a great kid. But the child's born and they name their charity after him, right? So that's terrible because you're superimposing a kind of egomania on the kid before they've even got started. And so, the Archwell, he's talking about the Archwell Foundation, right, which shouldn't be named after any of their kids. And Lily's 4 and she's on the internet every day on Meghan's Instagram. Make it make sense. So here we go. You'll love this, right? He talked about the importance of the Archwell Foundation and how it's going to transform lives. I've got bad news for you. Breaking news, folks. The foundation has been declared delinquent by the California Registry of Charities and Fundraisers. This is a big story, right? An organization that is listed as delinquent, this is Archwell, okay, is not good in standing. Sorry, okay, here we go. An organization that's listed as delinquent is not in good standing and is prohibited from engaging in conduct for which registration is required, including soliciting or disturbing. Sorry, what happened? It's the heat. Basically, this Californian organization has condemned Archwell as a smoking ruin of a charity. Could you be surprised, given the fact that Meghan and Harry neglect all of their big projects? Meghan neglects her As Ever company, which is why there's been no jam or flower sprinkles for 3 months. By the way, on the flower sprinkles, just my opinion, toxic, hallucinogenic, people aren't supposed to eat flowers. So Archwell is having a bit of a headache here. People magazine, which is a great newspaper, letter obtained by People, also noted the Archwell Foundation failed to submit required annual reports and or renewal fees. It's because they're a pair of flakes. Harry and Meghan are as flaky as they come. So 350 people attended Harry's event. All of them, by the way, billionaires, because Harry hasn't seen a normal person his whole life. And Meghan hasn't seen a normal person for about 10 years. She doesn't like to be near normal people. If she was in the company, the proximity, maybe like 3 or 4 yards away from a real person, she would bristle. It'd be like, you know the way that cats go like that? They don't even meow, they go. So that would happen if Meghan was within touching distance of a postman or something. Too much for her. And Harry, never seen a normal person. So that's crazy. Key themes in his speech: compassion, central in confronting growing social isolation and disconnection. Harry praised grassroots action as a source of hope. The thing that gives me the most hope is the grassroots approach. This guy, there's no hope in his heart. He's the world's least happy millionaire. He goes, as the world gets harder, as people's lives become harder, compassion can shrink. Whatever you put out there, you get back. I'm not even joking, right? This is not faux anger. How can Harry talk about compassion when his grandmother had to live with the knowledge that the book Spare was coming? She didn't know, Elizabeth did not know what was in that book. And she had to lie awake at night worrying about its contents. And he talks about compassion, not having it. So that is that. Also, I should tell you that this summit is going through right into the weekends. And it's, you know, it's too much. It's too much for me. I'm really tired of Harry considering himself to be some kind of politician. Now, politicians, right, they're popular, they're not popular. You know, normally half the population love them, half of them don't. But at least they're elected, aren't they? You know, whether it's Sir Keir Starmer, it's Donald Trump, it's Meloni in Italy. I don't know who's in charge here in Porto. Someone's in charge. It's a beautiful country. Portugal, they've got wine, the port wine, just brilliant, and garlic and a lot of carbohydrates. I've looked at the food. I've already gained about 5 pounds in unnecessary weight. Look, but the politicians are elected. Harry's not elected. Who gave him this platform to lecture the rest of us? This is a multi-millionaire prince, okay, a dim-witted aristocrat who's wagging his finger about global warming whilst living in a house with 16 bathrooms, wagging his finger about global warming whilst travelling the world in a private jet, wagging his fingers about global warming whilst running a company that specialises in international travel. Make it make sense. So I don't like it. I don't like the hypocrisy, and it's too much, but that is Harry all the way. Now listen, folks, I'm so excited because we've got to wrap this up because I'm going to New York. I'm accidentally in Porto, but I'm heading to New York City. I'm getting on a flight later today. So tomorrow's video, don't forget, brand new timings, okay? Brand new timings, which is 11 p.m. UK, 11 p.m., a late night treat. East coast of the United States, we have 6 p.m. West Coast, Pacific time, 3 p.m. Early morning down under, the Mark Dolan show. Okay, we're going to sign off now. And let me tell you, daily videos. Here is now a short, cobbled together, messy video diary, edited by cameraman John, of what went wrong in my trip from London to New York that accidentally involved Portugal. See you for the next video. 6 p.m. New York. 3 p.m. Los Angeles, 11 p.m. UK, early morning down under. Big love. See you tomorrow. Okay, folks, the first leg of my US tour. Here we are in London, St. Pancras International. I'll be leaving the United Kingdom, the birthplace of Prince Harry. Hello, my love. Thank you, my love. World's least happy millionaire. And the journey takes us all the way to the United States, to New York City, to Yosemite National Park. Yosemite! We also are going to Arizona, we're going to Las Vegas, and we're going to California and Montecito. The trip starts here. Follow all the action on The Mark Dolan Show. Things haven't gone according to plan. The last time we spoke, it was 9:30 a.m. in London, in King's Cross, and I was about to get on a choo-choo train. I will say I missed the first train because the doors closed 2 minutes early, right? It was a 9:50 train, and I was there at 9:48, ready for action, and the doors closed, and the man with a hat, who I believe was a prison guard, said, it's gone. Sorry, mate, it's gone. And I had to stand and watch the train go by. Anyway, the next train came along, got to the airport, all is good. We are queuing, and I'm about ready with my passport. The lady at the check-in said, what about your visa? Which visa do you have to enter the United States? And I said, what do you mean visa? I'm not going to become president. I'm not going to marry Julia Roberts. I don't need documentation. I've got my passport. I'm also a global figure, so entering any country should be straightforward. And she shook her head. She had a face like a bulldog chewing a wasp. And she proudly informed me that I will be not going to the United States. I'll be staying in England because I don't have some silly visa thing called an EUSA. What is it, cameraman John? ESTA. I don't have an ESTA, which, by the way, sounds like a sexually transmitted disease, doesn't it? Terrible ESTA. I was on holiday in Tenerife. I spent the evening with the wrong person and I got a terrible rash. But the ESTA is not a genetic sexual condition. It is a visa waiver. So what that means is that basically you don't need a visa to go to America if you're in the United Kingdom or the European Union, but you need a visa waiver. So you need to tick the box and apply for this thing. Anyway, I didn't have it, so I missed the flight. So we got here at 10 a.m. in the morning, and it's now 9 p.m. I've been in the airport all day. I'm exhausted. I've eaten a lot of sandwiches and crisps, and I am now, confusingly, I'm going to Portugal. So as you know, this is the Mark Dolan Show live from the United States, and my route involves flying to Portugal first because it's cheaper. So I'm going from London and I'm heading east to Portugal, and then tomorrow I'm flying to the United States. It's a terrible zigzag. I'm going to basically cause overnight global warming because of the unnecessary flights that I'm taking, but I must get to America. I will stop at nothing to reach the USA. Yeah, this is really not how I anticipated things playing out. I should be in the Big Apple now, in Greenwich Village, hanging out with bohemians and drinking cocktails instead. I'm on a suspiciously small aeroplane on my way to Portugal, to a place called Porto, which I've never been before, which apparently has a football team. So America has never felt further away. What are you going to do? Well, there you go. It is now 12:15 at night, and exactly a day ago I was in London. Now, for some reason, I'm accidentally in Portugal, in Porto, which I thought maybe was inland until somebody pointed out that the clue's in the name. It's called Porto, which means port. And I'm supposed to be in America. So what I've done in my effort to go to America, which involves going, never eat shredded wheat, west, I've gone east. I've gone in the wrong direction, and I'm not in North America. I'm in Europe. I'm in the Eurozone, and it's hot and humid, and it's completely the wrong part of the planet to be on. But I will say one thing, that Porto has a nice airport. Cameraman John, check this out. Look at that lovely glass sort of view that you get. Very, very transparent. The Europeans know about design, don't they? But what the Americans are really good at doing is producing big personalities, right? People like Meghan Markle, my husband. So Meghan Markle may think that she's off the hook because I've been sidelined and wound up in Europe. But don't worry about that, because tomorrow I'm getting on a plane and I'm heading straight to New York City, and I'm on my way to Montecito, California. And do you know what I'm going to do with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry when I get to Montecito? I'm going to take them down. And I'm going to take them down to Chinatown after I've been to Porto, which is by the sea, because port, clues in the name. Making the best of my trip to Porto, and it's a beautiful, beautiful town. Lovely sort of colonial vibes, wonderful European history, excellent ice creams. Look, they have created an ice cream which looks like a flower, which I'm going to be demolishing very soon. We have a kind of Nutella flavor, chocolate hazelnut, lemon and raspberry. You are welcome. Strange thing about raspberry, as a child, I hated raspberries and now I love them. Are there things that you hated when you were a kid and your palate changed and now you love them? I have that with raspberries. And I'm in front of a shop which is selling these unusual items. Take a look at this. It's on a lovely rotating wheel, carousel. I don't know what it is, but it screams carbohydrates, it screams calories, and given my commitment to my body mass index, I shall be walking away from this shop. Okay folks, that is it from Porto in Portugal. Next stop, New York. Keep your eyes peeled though. If I've got time, I'll do a video about the wedding of the century, Jeff Bezos, billionaire. I've got the inside story. So keep your eyes peeled, hit subscribe, hit like, hit the notification bell, and then emergency videos will come. So Jeff Bezos coming in hopefully a few hours time. And then tomorrow I'll be in New York in the Big Apple. See you then. Bye for now.